Monrovia. Or
Hello, I'm Fabian Quia with ELBC Newsline. Today is Tuesday, December 9, 2025, and these are our top stories.
We are very confident, but we give the board the benefit of the doubt. Nigeria has done its part, so after tomorrow we know what will happen. But I'm very hopeful that
Finance Minister expresses optimism as MCC Board of Directors meet to recommend Liberia for a second compact. Plenary votes to add 40 more seats at the House of Representatives. Two female visitors arrested for allegedly attempting to smuggle drugs into the Monrovia Central Prison. And away from Liberia, International Criminal Court sentences Sudanese militia leader to 20 years in prison. These stories and much more, including sports, the weather report, the news in Liberian English and French. But first, Emmanuel Cully and the news bulletin.
President Joseph Boakai on Tuesday received the 2025 Samuel Kayando Peace and Progress Humanitarian Award. The award was presented by Teddy Doe, son of the late President Samuel Kayando in Painesville. Receiving the award, President Boakai described the recognition as a meaningful gesture towards national healing and reconciliation. The Liberian media commended the Samuel Kayando Legacy Foundation for its commitment to foster unity and honoring the poor memory of the late president through constructive national engagement. He noted that the dignified reburial of the late president was an important step, not just for the Doe family, but for the nation's collective journey towards reconciliation. President Ibuaka also welcomed the launch of the Samuel Kayando Legacy Foundation, emphasizing that the initiative aligns with his administration's vision for inclusive development, youth empowerment, and national unity. The board of directors of the Millennium Challenge Corporation (DMCC) is meeting in Monrovia on Wednesday to decide whether to reject or recommend Liberia for a second compact. Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gafuan made the disclosure on Tuesday at a news conference in Monrovia. Mr. Gafuan expressed optimism about Liberia's selection, stressing a second compact is essential to the country's growth and development.
done its part. So after tomorrow we know what will happen. But I'm very hopeful that your country, my country, across the river.
The finance minister stated that the government has done its best to deserve the approval of the MCC board of directors. Mr. Gaffon named energy, road, and access to finance as areas that have been considered under its compact. Meanwhile, the finance minister has termed as a realistic and sustainable projections in the 2026 draft national budget. Mr. Gaffon said the executive is applying its best efforts in exercising fiscal discipline to raise the targeted amount in the budget. At a news conference in Monrovia on Tuesday, the finance minister assured that not only will the projections be actualized, it will also solve some critical national problems.
Apply the best efforts to mobilize the resources for next year, and I'm usually confident that the projection will be actualized.
The finance minister said though the budget cannot address every development challenge, critical areas or critical issues will be solved in order for the government to grow the economy and fast-track infrastructural development. According to him, there are ongoing engagements among the ministries of labor, finance, legislation, and the National Investment Commission to begin rolling out the National Employment Acceleration Strategy on job creation. The governments of Liberia and the United States have signed a 124 million US dollars memorandum of understanding to strengthen Liberia's health sector. The MOU will focus on strengthening disease surveillance, outbreak response capacity, and frontline health workforce in Liberia. According to data, Liberia is the third country in Africa to sign such bilateral agreement before Kenya and Rwanda. Foreign Minister Sarah Besloyanti signed on behalf of the governments of Liberia, while U.S. State Department Honor Secretary Jeremy Lewin signed for his country in Washington, D.C. According to a foreign ministry release, Mr. Levin said the MOU is a symbol of deepening bilateral relations between the United States and Liberia. For her part, Mr. Yanti expressed Liberia's gratitude to the United States for the partnership. Members of the House of Representatives have voted to increase the political districts from 73 to 87 ahead of the 2029 general elections. The move, according to a report, followed the reports from legislation in 2022. The move followed the reports from the House's committees on elections, inauguration, and judiciary. The increase in the legislative seats reflects population growth in the 2022 census. As per the proposal, Montserrat County will get additional 5 seats, while Bronx, Lofa, and Nema counties will receive 2 new seats. McGibby, Maryland, Grand Bassa, and Grand Juda counties are poised to receive 1 seat each. Meanwhile, the decision has been forwarded to the Senate for concurrence. The Monroeville Central Prison on Monday arrested 2 female visitors for allegedly attempting to smuggle a substance believed to be cool in the facility. Suspects Secret Camara 25, single, and Christina Roberts 19 of the ERWA arrived to visit inmates when routine checks uncovered the suspected narcotics concealed in their belongings. According to a Justice Ministry release during custody, Christina Roberts claimed the substance was given to her by her friend Secret Camara, stating it was her first time visiting the prison. Release said Secret Camara denied the allegation, stating that Christina was visiting a different inmate and had acted independently. The judges have been turned over to the appropriate authorities as the matter remains under investigation. The Gender and Inclusion Officer at the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, Center, Farad Mala, says the elimination of digital violence requires the collective efforts of all. She said digital violence has become a trend in Liberia that needs to be addressed with urgency. Madam Mala called on parents, community leaders, and school authorities to initiate conversation about digital violence. She says digital safety remains a key priority in shaping the minds and future of the next generation of leaders. Guatemala made a statement at a one-day dialogue on digital violence against women and girls in Monrovia on Tuesday. Uncontrollable and unregulated work and sent money activities in Liberia have claimed the attention of the Senate. Senate's attention was due to the activities by Grand Crew County Senator Nyomen Batikwa. Senator Batikwa's communication is quoted as saying unregulated mining activities in Liberia's industrial resources, including rock and sand, has no benefit to the government and the affected communities.
These people taking advantage of our weakness, so we should order to a check and ensure we pay the appropriate royalty to the government and also to the communities that are affected by the operation so that we cannot leave those burdens on the shoulders of the government alone.
The Grand Crew County Senator alleged that foreign nationals are only concerned about acquiring mining licenses but fail to pay loyalty to the government and uphold their corporate social responsibilities. Senator Batikwa pleaded with plenary to engage relevant ministries and agencies to ensure companies involved adhere to the laws governing such activity. At the same time, Senator Batikwa has refuted media reports that he is conflicted by trucking contracts over Silo Metal, Liberia. The Liberian Daily Observer Online News on December 9 publication accused Senators Sir Joseph and Nomini Batikwa of having an existing contract with AML worth hundreds of thousands of US dollars. Responding to the allegation Tuesday on Capitol Hill, Senator Batikwa said at no time did he sign any transport and logistics service contract with AML. Senator Batikwa challenged the Daily Observer newspaper to provide proof of his involvement with any contracts with the steel giant. Bapolo County District 2 Representative Luther Collins has described women empowerment as one of the surest ways to reducing poverty and stimulating economic growth. Representative Collins believes once women are supported and empowered, they can meaningfully contribute to the social and economic development of any nation. He was speaking over the weekend in Bolia. More than 100 women graduated from a village saving club that accumulated over 800 million Liberian dollars. The Babulu County District 2 representative then assured the women of his continuous engagement in empowering them to become more productive and independent. Representative Collins said his empowerment program will continue to impact women through the provision of rooms and programs to better the lives of rural women. Meanwhile, beneficiaries of the empowerment program acknowledged Representative Collins, describing it as an economic game changer. According to the women, the empowerment scheme has greatly helped them to become resourceful and productive in their homes. Women in the testimony narrated that prior to joining the village saving, many of them could barely afford taking care of their homes. The Friends of Collins Village Saving Association was established in 2016 to address the economic challenges confronting women in District 2 Bapolu County. With a motto, Together we can empower ourselves, the initiative aims to make women economically strong and vibrant. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the LCC, has joined the global community in marking the 2025 International Anti-Corruption Day. The day reinforces national efforts to promote transparency and accountability. The Commission said the observance underscores the need for stronger institutions, responsible leadership, and broader civic participation in the fight against corruption. Delivering the Anti-Corruption Day message, LCC Acting Executive Chairperson Anthony Samuel Dagana emphasized that corruption remains a major obstacle to peace and development, urging citizens to uphold integrity in all sectors. He highlighted improvements in investigations, increased public awareness, digitization of asset declaration system, and stronger collaboration among others. The day has been celebrated on the theme Uniting with Youth Against Corruption for a Peaceful, Inclusive, and Prosperous Liberia. Meanwhile, Integrity Watch Liberia Executive Director Harold Edo has urged the government to boost funding for anti-corruption institutions. He said stronger support will empower the LCC and the GSC to tackle corruption with greater efficiency and resilience. Mr. Edo highlighted the importance of shared responsibility, calling on civil society and the youth to play an active role in the fight against corruption. The executive director reaffirmed Integrity Watch Liberia's commitment to stand with the LCC in partnership in efforts to promote transparency and accountability nationwide. For her part, the keynote speaker, Apia Kimohai, called on Liberian youth to take the lead in promoting integrity. But Kemoka said young people bear a greater responsibility in shaping the nation's future. She stressed that corruption is not only a systemic problem, but a habit that society sometimes tolerates, warning that it fuels inequality, erodes trust, and threatens peace. She highlighted the critical role of young people in holding leaders accountable, influencing policies, and ensuring public resources are used fairly. At the same time, several anti-corruption activists have spoken of renewed commitment to integrity, transparency, and accountability. Speaking at the 2025 International Anti-Corruption Day in Monrovia, several partners highlighted the issue of money laundering, terrorist financing, and undermine economic stability. A representative of Global as African Global Logistics AGL Musa Kone reaffirmed his commitment to transparency and compliance business operations, describing integrity at both a corporate and rural obligations. And the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, is expected to conduct a full-scale investigation into the recent fire incident at the Seti Brothers Company on the Japanese highway. It followed the conclusion of the preliminary assessment carried out by the EPA Departments of Enforcement and Compliance, including radiation and safety. Speaking at MICA's regular press conference Tuesday in Monrovia, EPA Deputy Executive Director Doe Bole said the team discovered widespread pollution at company sites.
Emmanuel Colley and the news bulletin. He returns hopefully with the weather report and foreign news. One of the top stories this evening: two female visitors arrested by allegedly attempting to smuggle drugs into the Monrovia Central Prison. Tomorrow, the board of directors of the Millennium Challenge Corporation will be meeting to decide whether to reject or recommend Liberia for a second compact. The disclosure was made on Tuesday by Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gafwan. However, Minister Gafwan expressed optimism about Liberia's selection.
Many countries that were considered